had to come with an old school flow like, which one of you really wants that smoke like? E-mini man, mini mo, and Cavani with yet another goal like. Start with a show, with the lord of the pitch, I'm the lord of the mic like. Scary, something like fright like, top signing in hindsight. What? I had to come with an old school flow like, which one of you really wants that smoke like? E-mini man, mini mo, and Cavani with yet another goal like. Start with a show, with the lord of the pitch, I'm the lord of the mic like. Scary, something like fright like, top signing in hindsight. What? Yo, it's the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Let's go! So, Manchester United get the victory. Manchester United 2, Granada 0. Manchester United progress to the semi-finals to play against Roma. Look, this is the semi-final again we find ourselves in. This is the spot right here where we understand if we've made any progression under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his whole entire reign. This is the position where Manchester United continuously falter, continuously bottle it. The question remains, can we progress? Can we move on and progress to the final? We saw Man City under Pep Guardiola yesterday where they took the next step. They progressed to a semi-final where they usually get knocked out into the quarters. And it was a significant step for them. You can hear Gundogan when he was saying, a lot of pressure was lifted off their shoulders, and rightly so, because they're now in uncharted territory. They're in unfamiliar grounds in the Champions League. This is a place for them to make history according to, them. And Manchester United is in the same boat under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Under his reign, this is a chance to create our own history and push on from, winning a trophy potentially and push on from there. With these teams like Manchester United, you can tell that they're a really good team. But obviously they need that trophy winning mentality. They need people that's been there, done it, worn the t-shirt and got the experience. And I said this before about guys like David De Gea and Pogba, letting them go and the risk that it could have and the detrimental impact it can have on United. I really do think that we need to keep these guys, but it's really important that this team, this crop of players, can progress and kick on and go into the final, win that final and move on. But anyway, I'll talk about the lineup. So the lineup was very interesting because although I know that there was a lot of yellow cards in the first leg against Granada, so I know obviously Scott McTominay wasn't going to play. Who else wasn't going to play? Martial's obviously injured. Eric Bailly's obviously injured, he's got COVID, but Luke Shaw again picked up a yellow. Harry Maguire picked up a yellow. Harry Maguire needed to rest because he's playing too much, so that yellow would serve him well. Same with Scott McTominay as well. It would serve them all well. Rashford obviously got a rest too. And it's timely. I mean, like I was saying, I was happy that we got these yellow cards against Granada in the first leg, because when you're up 2-0 and you're up against a team like Granada, it's the best time, to rest players. You ain't going to be able to have that opportunity throughout the league to be able to do that. I mean, if you can't do it against Granada. And we managed to get a few players rested today. Like Cavani came off early as well when he played. And Pogba came off a little earlier than probably he wanted to because of his yellow. But yeah, let me get into the lineup. So I was interested to see that Tuanzebe was starting, because I haven't seen him in a long time. A lot of us fans hasn't seen him in a long time, and it was good to see Tuanzebe playing, as well as Tellez. I think Tellez had a good game, but let me talk about Tuanzebe. So Tuanzebe is a guy that is still, he confuses me in a sense where the jury's still out with Tuanzebe, and you hear he went on loan with, who was it? He went on loan with was it Villa? Who did he go on loan with? He went on loan. I think it was them anyway. He had a really good season, and he came into the squad. You would have thought he would have kicked on at Manchester United. It didn't happen for him, and all of a sudden now he's been swarming the bench, and you're just like, but why isn't he getting enough game time? Why isn't he getting enough the game time? Like, he's got the talents. He can clearly, give him a run, see if he's got what it takes, and see if he can, replace someone like Lindelof or Maguire. No, it ain't gonna be Maguire, but Lindelof and partner Maguire. And it just begs the question, what is it that's happening in training or behind the scenes? What is it that, you know, Ollie fears, or what is it that he sees that we don't? What is it that, you know, he's worried about? I do know that Lindelof is a consistent baller. He's consistent in a sense where, you know, obviously he stays fit. He's got good passing range. And you know what, to be fair, like, we're harsh on guys like Maguire and Lindelof, but to be fair, they've been having a really good spell in the starting lineup recently. They've been having a really good spell. They've been keeping clean sheets, and they've been doing a decent job. And they're not bad players. Like I always say, it's the partnership thing. But Tuanzebe hasn't really ever been given a chance. You know, he hasn't been given a chance. He had these games here and there, his cameos. Most notably against Mbappe, PSG, when he sort of silenced him. And then that was it. He vanished off the face of the earth. And I think like, Tuanzebe deserves an opportunity. I just don't feel, the fans, I don't feel that we're satisfied with, you know, what we've got. We just don't understand. Look at it. We've got Eric Bailly's arguably the best defender in our team. Most people would say he is the best defender in our team, especially if he can stay fit. Then we've got Tuanzebe, who's like a young, you know, talent, which is, he's got the physicality there, he's got the speed, you know, and you're just thinking there's probably a prospect there to develop. Look, this is a Manchester United who was recently linked with guys like, you know, the Monaco defender, Benoit Badiashile, who's similarly a young defender. We were linked with him. We were linked with Gabriel, that went to Arsenal. And you just think, we've got Tuanzebe in the squad, who I don't feel that we've given enough opportunity to, or tried and tested. And we're going to go out and buy another defender when you could potentially have the star quality there. Tuanzebe had a really good loan spell, you know, and he played a lot of games in a physical league, in the Champions League, and he did well. He got the team up to promotion, and now Manchester United do not want to give him a chance, but yet we want to go out and buy another defender. I just don't quite understand that. To me, I feel like we could potentially save some money if we utilise these players. And let's just say, look, Tuanzebe is not doing that well in training or whatever it is like that. Some people just step up when they actually get on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? You see times where, you know, teams are forced to play players because of injuries, but when they play these players, you know, magic happens. It's not always the case where, you know, the traditional thing how they've got to be playing well in training, and then all of a sudden that will translate to the pitch. Sometimes it don't even translate to the pitch. Sometimes it's the other way around, where they're playing in a high intensity game, a real life game, and they do well, but maybe, you know, in training they're not doing so well. Or there's people that do really well in training but don't really do too well in an actual real game. So I just feel like these guys need to be played so we can test the waters. But the thing is because Lindelof and Maguire, although we've given them a lot of grief and, you know, we berated their name, they've held up a decent enough level of a performance to gain Ollie's trust, for him not even to consider or be moved or forced to even change any one of them. And that's the problem. Like, if you rated Maguire and Lindelof out of 10, right, you would say they were consistent. You know, some would say 5 if you're being a bit, you know, sort of in the middle. Some would say 6 or whatever. But that's probably good enough for Ollie. Do you know what I mean? That's a team. That's a centre-back partnership that's sitting second right now. Yeah, we're miles behind City. But that's a centre-back partnership that's sitting second in the league. That's a centre-back partnership that's in a semi-final right about now, and got us to multiple semi-finals in the past. And that's the centre-back partnership, you know, that's come against the elites of European football, or some of the elites anyway, and held their own at times. So I can see why, you know, Ollie doesn't want to take the risk, because I feel like Ollie's putting himself first. And, like, you know what, saying, you know, I don't want to take this risk, drop points, and, you know, be in a scrap. I might as well finish the season with what I know was tried and trusted, and that's why he's going with who he's going with. So, but I was glad to see Tuanzebe back anyway after such a long time out. And he gave a really good performance, man. He gave a really good performance. He made some really good, clean challenges. I remember one specifically where he literally made that last ditch tackle where he put his leg out just when the opposition was going to shoot. Don't know the striker's name, and he blocked off his foot. I think that was really good. Kept up with the pace, kept his eye on the ball, and then made that nice little block. So that's just one of the things he done. I think he had a really good game. So that was Tawanzebe. And obviously Lindelof is always it's either gonna be Maguire or Lindelof. He's always gonna start. Tellez had a really good game as well. He put in some decent crosses. And then you've got the Pogbas. Now Pogba surprised me because Pogba's a guy that I thought probably should have got rested. This is a game that probably Donny van de Beek should have started. And again, it raises the question that how much does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer trust these guys? And well, we already know anyway, to be fair. This is like beating a dead horse when it comes to this topic, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is never going to be like Donny van de Beek, you're starting and you're starting a string of games this season, you know, back-to-back games. It's never going to happen. You might get a cameo off the bench and that's about it. So I was kind of disappointed to see him not start. Doesn't show much faith that Ole has in the players. But at the same time, like I said earlier, you know, Ole's trying to take this seriously. He knows he's in a good position right now. He's gone with a trial and trusted according to his standards, like what he feels. Even though we as fans may think, you know, I want to give these guys an opportunity. Ole's thinking, you know what, I need to do what's good for saving my job, but also doing what's best, what he feels is for the club and the best chance what he has in terms of the best team he can put out in terms of winning a trophy, or, you know, in the Premier League finishing in a second in the league. So hey ho, do you know what I mean? He didn't play the full 90 minutes. Obviously that yellow card contributed to that. He made an impact. Obviously, you know, he got the assist. Cavani, top man, sharpshooter, got the goal. So you know, it's Ole's decision at the end of the day. As long as no one's coming out of that game injured, no bans, no red cards, look, I can only be happy about it. Do you know what I mean? So we move. Bruno Fernandes again was doing his thing. He had a few chances here and there. It was creating chances. But I would really like Bruno to... I mean, Bruno's one of those guys. He does what he does, right? He's a guy that creates, right? He's a guy that always looks for the killer pass. The flip side of that, the negative part of that, is that we lose the ball a lot because he's always looking for the killer pass. I wouldn't change Bruno. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't change Bruno. But there's been those discussions about who's better, Bruno or De Bruyne. And I know Bruno's stats are insane. His goals and assists. I don't know how many goals he's got, probably in 20 odd something in all competitions. It's crazy stats. But if you look at Bruno Fernandes' style of play, Bruno Fernandes is a creator, right? He's a creator. De Bruyne is a conductor. He has it all. Like Bruno is a creator. De Bruyne has it all. He controls the game. He holds on to that ball. He protects it. He makes that pass when he knows that he's gonna find his man. Most of the time, he does find his man. His quality is off the chain. It is off the chain, and I think the difference between those two is that, yes, you know, Bruno's a risk taker, but De Bruyne literally he commands respect. He dominates that midfield. He protects the ball. He doesn't lose possession or anything like that most of the time, and his final balls usually find their man. Whereas Bruno's, he may attempt a few killer balls, and then maybe 1 out of 5 killer balls will find the man. I wouldn't change Bruno, like I said, because his numbers are insane, and he's exactly what we need. He's exactly what Manchester United need. Without Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United will have no spark. They'll be flat. And he brings that flair, he brings that excitement, and he brings that creativity. But I do, you know, lean towards De Bruyne when it comes to, you know, who's the better player. It is De Bruyne by far. And it doesn't take a lot to realise that. But I'm happy that we got Bruno, and I wouldn't change Bruno. So yeah, Mason Greenwood got another good amount of minutes under his belt. What did he get? About 80 odd minutes or so. Greenwood again. He played outright. Bruno Pogba on the left. Again, he's probably our best option for the right position, but I just don't like seeing him out wide. I like seeing him through the middle. He's still a guy that's finding his craft. You can see he's got the quality. The world can see he's got the quality. And he's in the development process right about now. I do feel like if he's surrounded by like a stronger team, a team that creates a lot more rather than him having to be the creator, you would see a lot more goals from him. Obviously, he's occupying that right hand side, but you would hope that if we get a right winger that is playing there, whether it be Amad Diallo or whether it be a new signing in Sancho in the summer, that it will free up Greenwood to focus solely on the centre forward position and develop his craft there, and hopefully push on to show exactly what he's made of, because I feel like he is a gem waiting to happen. There was times when you're like, who's better, Foden or Greenwood and stuff like that, and now you can see Foden flourishing, and we just waiting to see that happen with Greenwood. He had a killer season last season, and we all want to see that replicated again, and I think it will come. And I'm happy that he's getting the minutes. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is playing him, giving him that game time, and we will see the Greenwood that we're all waiting for and expecting. But he had a really good game again, like I said. It's not always about him scoring goals. What I'm happy about now is that his all-round style of play is improving, and we want to see more of that. And when the goals come, it's gonna turn into something crazy. And Cavani, obviously, Cavani is just a beast. He's a sharpshooter, and Manchester United need to try and do everything we can do to keep him. Obviously, he's having cold feet. He wants to go back to South America, I'm hearing, and we are going to be having a conversation with him. Manchester United board's going to be having a discussion with Cavani next week, I believe, or so, to iron out some stuff, maybe have that decision sort of finalized. All of the news I'm hearing is that Cavani's going to be going back to South America, which is a shame because you can't replace that type of... You saw his goal, the movement, even the one that came off his shoulder. That sort of bend and run, the movement is... You're a defender and you can't keep up with him, and he's 34 years old. Can't keep up with Cavani. You can't mark the guy. He's just potent. He's a proper poacher, man. He's a proper striker, proper number 9, and we're going to be losing a quality striker once he goes back. We're going to be really losing a quality striker, and I can't think of anybody in the market that fits that profile, because Manchester United, I think what we've been seeing when we've been getting Ibrahimovic in, even dating back to Falcao and all of these guys, we've been trying to bring in strikers, but I've always thought that we've had people like Rashford and Martial and even Greenwood at the back of our mind in terms of this is who we want to be our long-term striker solution. And now we're seeing it with Ibrahimovic, our most recent, and Cavani. We're not trying to commit on spend big on a striker, because I do feel personally that Manchester United, think that they've got that in, whether it be Martial or Greenwood in particular. So, I just don't see us. I can't see us another person that fits that type of profile like Cavani, that's got the quality that will be either free or very cheap, that can fit the bill and plug the gap, happy to come off the bench or rotate or whatever. Obviously, there's your Danny Ings and stuff, but no one's got the quality that Cavani's got out there. There's potentially Benzema, but I don't know what that would look like. If you would want to come to Manchester United, his wages could be insane again, even though I know we're paying Cavani big wages. But what would he demand? But probably maybe Benzema, maybe. But I can't really see anyone else that... And even then, Benzema's not a guy that would probably want to be sitting on the bench either, So, that's just one for the scouts and the board to figure out. But I would really love us to try and keep Cavani, man, so we can focus especially on other areas as well, because we're just giving ourselves more work to do. We're giving ourselves more work to do in the transfer window, because we've already got a lot to be dealing with. Centre back, DM, I'm hearing it's Declan Rice, I'm hearing we're linked with Varane, and then Sancho still in the wings there, and a striker now. Talk less of what we've got to deal with in terms of the players that are on loan and the players that are looking to leave, potentially like David De Gea and Pogba. It's just a lot to do, and if we can save ourselves from doing that extra work of finding a striker in the summer, that's just one less thing to do and one less thing to worry about. So, man, I would like to say though, I was querying sort of that Pogba on the left hand side, and I know that people feel like he's probably not as effective there as he would be in the middle, but he's been having a decent couple of games now where he's been doing all right in the wide hand side, and I like today's particularly how he interchanged with Bruno Fernandes. There were at times where Bruno Fernandes dropped, Pogba got forward, and when Pogba got forward, Bruno dropped him, and vice versa. There's a couple of times. So that flick on what Pogba done for Cavani is Bruno was further deeper down the line in the midfield, and Pogba was more advanced, and that's how we managed to get that assist. So I just like the sort of what do you call it? The link between Bruno and understanding between Bruno Fernandes and Pogba when they play together. You know, and let's just see if it's sustainable. I mean, he was doing that whole left side of the midfield at Juventus, but Juventus's team was probably more whole, you know, more settled, more ready right now, where we've got a lot of gaps to plug in our team, and I don't feel like we can sustain Pogba playing on the left with this current crop of players for a full season, I guess. But here and there, you know, it's worked out. Sometimes it hasn't worked out, like against Arsenal. I remember where we lost again for it was a penalty we gave away, wasn't it? I didn't like Pogba on the wing that time either. But you know, he's been having decent performances, and I hope it continues. You know, but really and truly, what we want to see is Pogba playing alongside, you know, one midfielder, or potentially what you do is have a world-class DM, and then have Pogba and Bruno just in front of that DM. So your DM could be Wilfred and Didi, wink wink, Kessié, wink wink. Then you have Bruno Fernandes, and then you have Pogba right in front of them, right in front of the DM, right? And then you can allow your front three to do what they're doing with your Rashford, your Cavani, and then your whoever it is on the right, you know, Greenwood. That is the formation that I want to see. That's the formation where we would thrive, I reckon. You know, yeah, obviously you have to tailor it from game to game depending on if you're playing a really attacking team or whatever, but that would be the perfect midfield for me. And I reckon it will work, but you just have to get the DM right. You just have to get the DM right. So look, we're progressing on to the semi-final. We've got Roma, you know, up against Roma, and it's going to be a very interesting game because we're going to be seeing, you know, guys like Mkhitaryan that used to play for us. Obviously, Smalling that used to play for Manchester United. He's had a really good spell at Roma. I think he's injured. I don't know if he'll be fit for our game, but I don't think I saw him playing. I think he was on an injury bench. But yeah, it'll be good to see Smalling again, you know, if he's fit. Mkhitaryan. They've got Pedro, who used to play for Chelsea as well. So they got some guys. And they got Zeko. Obviously, Zeko's a clinical striker. Zeko's a guy that can punish you. He's a proper striker as well. We've been fortunate enough to be playing teams where in the final third they haven't been punishing us for our mistakes at times. And you've got Zeko that can potentially punish us. You know, he'll be good in the air. And if a ball lands to his feet, he's potentially got a good chance of putting it in the net. One thing I'm happy about is that we haven't got to worry about the pace of guys like Zeko or Mkhitaryan too much. Yeah, they might have skill, Mkhitaryan and stuff like that, and Zeko's up, you know, clinical, but I think Man United really struggle against speed, you know, with Maguire and Lindelof. So that's one less thing to worry about, and I think we can beat them. You know, I think we can take on Roma and progress to the final. I really do. And whether that be Villarreal or Arsenal, I really think that we've got a good chance of lifting a trophy this season. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, I'm happy that guys got a rest, you know, for this game. A few guys here and there got a rest because we've got Burnley coming up. You know, we've got Burnley coming up, and we need to get those 3 points. We need to keep pushing on, you know, establishing that healthy gap, you know, away from Leicester. And let's see if we can, you know, utilise our game in hand that we had and try and close the gap to a more respectable, you know, points gap between us and City. So, you know, onwards and upwards. You know, Manchester United, like I said, we got the win. It was 2-0 to us today, 4-0 on aggregate, and we move. Roma, you better be ready for the smoke because we are coming to give it. Firms, like, comment and subscribe and support the team.